Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. The meeting will be starting shortly. While we wait, let's learn more about Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast channels 98 and 22. Channel 98 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 13, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well.
Good evening and welcome to the March 6, 2023 Town of Exeter Select Board meeting. As the hour is 6:30, calling the meeting to order. A first order of business this evening is to hopefully go into non-public session, and then we'll come back up and resume our regular meeting. So I would entertain a motion now to enter into non-public session under RSA 91A 3-2L.
So moved. I'll second. Oh, then I won't do anything. Keep going.
A motion and a second.
Sorry.
Madam Clerk.
Selectwoman Roundtree-Olaf.
Aye.
Selectwoman Cowan.
It's not on the phone yet.
Selectwoman Belanger.
Aye.
Clerk says aye, Mr. Chair.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. Good evening and welcome back to the Select Board meeting. The board was in non-public. I apologize for the tardiness in returning, but we are here and ready to start our regular meeting. So good evening, Exeter. Good evening to my colleagues on the board, respective town staff here. This is the March 6, 2023 Town of Exeter Select Board meeting. And I'd like to start by introducing the board. To my right, Selectwoman Lovey Roundtree-Olaf. Good evening.
Good evening.
We have Selectwoman Molly Cowan joining us via Zoom. Can you hear us, Selectwoman Cowan?
Hey, everyone.
And can you just explain that you're unable to physically be here and that whether you're alone in the room or not?
Yes, I'd be happy to. I am traveling for work. I am alone in the room, and I miss you all very much.
All votes tonight will be via roll call that our clerk, Selectwoman Julie Gilman, will be taking. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
And to the left of Selectwoman Gilman, Selectwoman Nancy Belanger. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
And also with us, our town manager back from a quick vacation, Mr. Russ Dean. Good evening.
Good evening.
Our recording secretary, Joanna Bartell. Good evening. I'm well, thanks. How are you? And I'm Nico Papakostandis. So we've exited non-public. Next item of business will be a RFP bid opening for 10 Hampton Road renovations. Do you have a sheet of paper, Madam Clerk? Mr. Dean, do you have a...
Oh, here it comes. The actual form. There you go.
Okay, company name?
Okay, and this is for the RFP for the 10 Hampton Road renovations. The first bid is from Yeti Land Care LLC in Exeter with an estimate that is broken down and itemized, but the grand estimate is $25,800. And we have a second bid from Landmark Structures Corporation out of Woburn, Massachusetts. And it looks like they're giving a proposal in the amount of $34,650. Mr. Dean, those are the only two bids?
Those are the only two bids.
Okay,
What was the bid for Yeti again? I'm sorry.
25,800.
correct.
Mr. Chair, I move to forward these proposals to Parks and Rec for review and recommendation.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk?
Selectwoman Cowan.
Aye.
Selectwoman Roundtree-Olaf.
Aye.
Selectwoman Belanger.
Aye.
And clerk says aye. Mr. Chair.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you. Next item is public comment, and I'll skip over that as we do not have any public, nor do we have any public well, let me look. No, we have one attendee, and I don't see a hand up. Okay, so we'll move forward. We do not have any formal proclamations, recognitions. However, I have a couple of, I guess maybe public service announcements or expressions of gratitude. The first to recognize Highway Superintendent Jay Perkins and the DPW team who navigated the town successfully through 2 storms since we last met. And just want to personally thank Jay and the team for clearing the roads very carefully and making it safe for us to travel.
Yes, I will second that. Sorry, Joe.
Next public service announcement is to remind folks that the town election will be held at Talbot Gym from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. on March 14th, and we'd like to see a record number of people show and vote. We're going to talk about the OmniBallot that's ready to, will be ready for action. We'll get to that during the discussion item. Another public service announcement is the town reports are available in the town clerk's office, physical copies of the book. You can also find the town report on the website. I would like to remind folks that we're not printing them to waste paper haphazardly. There is an RSA that requires the town to provide a physical annual report, so.
And they will be available at the polls also.
Thank you. We had a question last meeting about several parking spaces when we were talking about the Front Street, Linden Street intersection. There were some parking spaces that were discussed in front of Exeter Inn, and I just want to confirm that the town has confirmed that those are not exclusive to the inn. Those are for general parking spaces. We had a question about that. And last, I would just like to briefly mention that tonight is Selectwoman Lovey Roundtree Olaf's last meeting, and I just want to take a second to express my gratitude to you and tell you how much I've enjoyed working with you, and I'm going to miss you. You came in your own way, and you're leaving your own way, and there's something to be said for that. You know, I remember our first meeting, we were at the town hall, spread out. COVID hadn't quite hit yet, but we heard it was coming, and boy, your first year and a half was unlike anybody else.
Yeah. It was different.
You and Selectman Brown, and it just wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, but it's been enjoyable working with you. You know, you came to every meeting prepared and ready to serve the community, and you were always looking out for the folks that were sitting out here. You were always looking out for the taxpayers and the well-being of our citizens, and, you know, honestly, you've made me a better public servant, so thank you.
Well, thank you.
And I'll miss you, but I know that you'll be around.
You can't get rid of me that easy.
We don't want to, but I know that you'll be around, and hopefully you won't mind if I reach out to you once in a while and just pick your brain.
You absolutely should. And I just want to say thank you to everyone, and thank you to all the people who've come to meetings and who've emailed and just watched online. It's been a wonderful experience. It's been a lot of hard work. There's no doubt about it. And I do hope that more individuals get involved in town politics and get involved in Exeter in all of the ways that are accessible. So if anything, I hope that more people are excited about joining and taking part on boards, on this board, on committees, because it's worth it. It really is.
And
So thank you.
Please help us recruit.
Yeah, that part of your job is not done yet.
Molly, I don't know if anybody else would like to have a few words for
I think you
Selectwoman?
covered it very well. Thank you.
Yeah, I would like to say it's been very pleasant and working with you, because I hear a different voice come from you than that gives me a nudge every once in a while. But hey, yeah, there's that point of view. So, I've really appreciated that.
Thanks.
Selectwoman Cowan?
I do have lots to add. It has been so fun, and thank you so much for your work. I will miss you as a seatmate and as my and as my person who we can confer. And I would love to invite you to join the communications committee with me.
Hey,
Gotta leave with a hard ass, my friend. I know, hard ass.
District?
And we can get you all the applications before you leave.
I know. Applying for what?
And
There's 10
Melissa's got them
more.
over here,
Budget
so.
committee?
I love it. I love it. I would be offended if you didn't offer the suggestion that I join one of the other committees. So thank you, Molly.
You are allowed to be on 2 committees as well as the BRC. So, and you know that that's only part-time. It's, you know, September to
Right.
That's why I was throwing the BRC out there. Shorter commitment every year.
Thank you, guys. This was great.
So, Lovey,
honestly.
we don't want you to forget us.
I won't. Oh my goodness, there's stuff. Oh, thank you. My dad will be very happy. I know he's watching right now. Thank you so much. I really appreciate all of the town of Exeter giving me the opportunity to really have a voice, and hopefully it was a voice that were represented some, I know not all, but if anyone felt represented in my opinions and thoughts, and I appreciate that I could do that.
Absolutely.
So thank you.
Thank you.
On to more fun business.
So next, I would entertain a motion, first, regular meeting minutes from February 27, 2023. I'd ask the board if there are any revisions or amendments. And seeing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the Town of Exeter Select Board regular meeting minutes from February 27, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk?
Selectwoman Cowan.
Aye.
Selectwoman Roundtree Olaf.
Aye.
Selectwoman Belanger.
Aye.
And clerk says aye. Mr. Chair?
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you. So we'll jump right into our discussion items. I mentioned the OmniBallot initiative that we worked, town clerk and town manager and assistant town manager worked really, really hard with some folks in the community to make sure that we were able to provide this for the town election March. And I'm very, very happy and thankful for the commitment you all made to this. This was an important initiative for the select board. It's an important initiative for folks in town, and everybody should have the right to vote. So I'm very excited. I'd be remiss if I didn't say that I believe, other than the town of Concord, we are the first town to be using this.
That's
and I'm
correct.
very proud of that. And I want to make sure that's advertised to other towns, Mr. Dean, that this is successful and should be made available to every voter.
Yes, we will do that.
And I'd further encourage folks, I know Selectwoman Gilman, Selectwoman Belanger, I think we all tried this in November. I'd urge everybody to try this. It is a lot easier than filling in the ovals, and it's an interesting experience. So
I'll be doing
would
it
encourage
for
people
March
to do that.
14th.
Wicked fast.
Did I miss anything on that, Mr. Dean?
No, I think you covered it, Mr. Chairman.
Wonderful. Our next item is the Squamscott River Siphon project update. This has been, for those of you who tune in regularly to our meetings, you know this has been a regular topic of discussion and will be for some time. I want to thank Mr. Paul Vlasic, our interim DPW director, who has been giving us incredibly thorough updates the last couple of meetings and has really made it easy for us to understand just what's going on. So, Paul, again, thank you. I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you very much. Paul Velocich, Town Engineer, Interim DPW Director. Last week, I talked to the board about the rock drill, and we're trying to construct some siphons across the river. And I talked about how we're trying to enlarge the existing drill that we have to 12-inch, and the drill bit was stuck. And I discussed a couple of possible options of how to fix that last week. And one was pretty expensive with low likelihood of success. And then the other is maybe that when they pull some of the pieces out of that hole, that there might be a chance to recover a shaft that is broken that has caused the drill bit to be stuck basically in the center of the river. Also at the last meeting, we talked about the potential of any insurance type coverages because of equipment failure on the contractor's part. Our design consultants put together a letter, sent it to the contractor this past Thursday, March 2nd, how we're going to remedy this situation, have you contacted the insurance providers, and then late on Friday, the contractor responded, and that information was not given out to the rest of the town folks until today. I didn't get that until after I was gone on Friday. And basically, the contractor still thinks that this is a time and materials job, and that he would like to get paid for some of this work that he's been doing also. So we are going to go ahead and, with the help of some town council also, to understand what this letter says and respond to it and see how to best maneuver with the project. We don't have answers for you today, but that is what has happened over the past week.
Any questions or comments for Mr. Vlasic?
No, I just think it's important that people watching, paying attention to this issue know that our town employees are meeting practically daily. They're staying right on top of this and are giving us updates as soon as they're available.
No, I think that's right, and thank you for saying that. So folks at home that are watching or keeping, tabs on this project, when we reach out for updates, sometimes those updates are every couple of hours, and I know that Mr. Vlasic has been putting a lot of time into this, as has the assistant town manager and town manager. This will be on the select board agenda for the foreseeable future as there are updates to be given. But I think one thing to keep in mind, I think, Paul, you mentioned this earlier, is that this was an unforeseen situation, despite the fact that testing was done, studies were done over the course of this area. It's New Hampshire. There was ledge. There was no reason to have expected that based on the studies. I think that we asked the question about the subcontractor, and we've been assured by the folks at Wright Pierce here, as well as Mr. Vlasic, that the subcontractor has the utmost excellent reputation. So I think that's important to note, that this is just, it's pretty significant, but it was unforeseen, and we'll do our best to try to get this resolved as quickly and financially responsible as possible. Is that fair?
That is fair, and we plan on giving you updates every meeting.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. I'd also just remind everybody that, should the board need to meet in addition to our regularly scheduled meetings, we would be happy to do that, and obviously post it 4 hours in advance. So, Mr. Dean, if something comes up that's imperative, we don't want to wait for a scheduled meeting.
Understood.
Okay. Selectwoman Cowan, did you have anything you wanted to add?
No.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, folks, appreciate it. Next, we have Mr. Bisson, Parks and Rec Director, to come talk about an exciting grant.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Excuse me if I'm clearing my throat. My little darlings gave me something last week, so. Yes, I'm here to discuss the Community Center Investment Program that the state of New Hampshire has launched. In 2022, in September, Governor Sununu announced that they were going to establish a $20 million fund to go into this new program to invest in construction or renovation of community centers throughout the state of New Hampshire. They were going to use CDFA as the agent to help administer this grant. So Town Manager Russ Dean, Assistant Town Manager Melissa Roy, and I have been monitoring this. It became official this past fall when the Executive Council voted to allocate these funds. And what they're looking for are projects that are really going to make an impact in the community. We were on a conference call 2 weeks ago, and there was 170 people on this call. So obviously, there's a lot of eyes on it. So I've given you in your memo, I'm not going to read it verbatim, what they're looking for, the eligibility guidelines, what they're looking for in the timeline, which is quite an aggressive timeline, I could say. CDFA, is, and those at home is in the packet. They launched the workshop in January, and they plan with the different workshops and technical assistance. The applications are due April 21st. So we wanted to come to you as the board to gauge your thoughts on the grant, if you want us to proceed with the grant. The one thing that is the caveat is it requires a match. So one of the things that I will be working with Russ and Melissa on is finalizing that number of what it would be, but we would be looking to use some rec revolving fund. We've been very successful the last several years, minus the pandemic. Impact fees, if possible. We do have some funds left on what was allocated out of the $100,000, with a few dollars being spent for minor renovations. And then hopefully maybe the board would be willing to contribute ARPA funds. It is a 15% match, so it is, and it will cover up to $1 million projects, and as low as a $100,000 project. So one of the things that we would be really looking to focus on, if we would, if you give our blessing to move forward with this, is replacing the HVAC system with a more energy efficient, with modern filtration, making the second floor accessible, upgrading making the ADA bathrooms upstairs accessible, obviously. Flooring throughout, because people don't understand when you talk about accessibility, flooring goes into a lot of it because there are tripping hazards and everything. Renovate the program spaces, and then drainage work, obviously, some drainage work and electrical upgrades, and included in this would be the architectural engineering to actually perform all of this. How much that's going to be, we just have to drill down. We do have some cost estimates from last year that we need to be updated, but we did apply for a CDBG in 2022, and we are basing some of those cost estimates on what we had there. So really can't give you a number just yet, but wanted to gauge your interest, because obviously if the board has no desire to move forward with this, we're good.
Well, I always encourage seeking grants. You can't give us a number, but on the low end, you'd be looking for approximately $15,000 to match, and on the high end, you'd be looking for $150,000 to match, if I understood you correctly.
Yes.
Okay, so that's a good start.
Yep. We believe we can contribute $100,000 out of the rec revolving fund for that.
Then you read my mind. So
Yep.
You're looking for, on the high end, up to $15,000.
Yes.
From ARPA money, or ARPA money plus other things?
ARPA money plus maybe impact fees, depending on what we can work with.
Okay. That gives us a 1.5.
1.5.
But he said if there's 100,000 in the...
Yeah. Well, I'll let Melissa.
That's okay.
Thank you.
I think that some of the discussion is how do we position ourselves to be the best candidate when we talk about 170 people, just on this alone. And so could we get 50 to 100,000 out of ARPA, 100,000 out of rec revolving, so that it shows we as a community are putting more than 15% in, and whether that helps us negotiate better, because we're still getting a significant amount of money back, and we're doubling what we are given in ARPA. So those are the conversations, but we do, like Greg said, have to drill down and what that would be like. But I just want to make sure that we're potentially not 50.
Yeah, if you can show if you can show that you have, basically it's contingency, but that if you have money that more than the actual match
Makes sense.
things, it shows a commitment from the people to the project.
So Greg, could I just I just want to make sure I understand this. The revolving fund, you think you'd have approximately 100,000?
Yes, and that would leave.
For match.
And I would.
What about the impact fee? You didn't?
Impact fees currently are $36,000.
Okay, that you hadn't said yet, or if you did,
I just got that
missed
number
it.
last
So-
week from Laura in finance.
Okay, and that's what's in.
That's what's
that
currently in there right now,
That's
without
total,
any
okay.
expenses coming out of it in 2023.
What expenses would come out for
None,
2020?
because
Okay.
you're the only ones that would be able to allow me
Right.
to.
I'm just saying, was there anything else that you were looking at for that? Is it,
Nope.
Could we use that in full?
We
if
could, we
needed
could
to?
do, we have to leave $500 in the account.
Thank you.
Can't expend it below 500,000, or 500.
500.
500.
It's
no thousand.
okay, I'm following you.
Sounds like my daughter's bank account.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was curious about one thing in the memo where you talked about, this is a CDFA program, and it's coming through CDFA. But then you also talk about applying for CDFA's energy assessment program.
So one of the things that I think would better position us as well, and they talked it throughout the first presentation, was, are you ready? And one of the criteria is improving systems that impact energy efficiency in building space. And with the CDFA, we have enough funds where I got a quote today to get a level 2 energy audit, which will give us all the numbers we need. CDFA offers a 75% match. So we would spend $1,200 to have this done. That way we can have this report when we go in, and we know when we give it to the architect and engineers as well that we're preparing to make it as energy efficient as possible.
Okay, the reason I'm bringing it up is that in a lot or most grants, you can't seek funds from the same place to do the one job.
They actually recommended it.
Oh, well, there you go.
And they emailed it out to Melissa, like, hey, did you see this? And so Melissa met with CDFA last fall when we were applying for CDBG, and they loved the project. It just, there was a lot of hands in the pot, and what we were going for that was not, they don't usually fund a senior center, recreational center. It usually goes to more needy, like housing and all that. So even though they love the project, they kind of, well, this is a better fit for us because this is literally, it calls it out recreation centers.
Yeah, I was on that webinar.
Yep.
I saw your name. And there's a lot to it, but it's a pretty exciting opportunity.
Absolutely. So, go ahead. You'll come back to us once you have some more?
Yes.
But the consensus of the board is go for it?
Yeah, I would.
Yes.
Okay. Great.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Feel better.
We'll be back.
Yes, feel better. And the last discussion item, since we last met, when we last met, Assistant Town Manager Melissa Roy spoke of the judge's decision being issued the Friday before, and that Attorney Mitchell would be getting a copy of that, and he has since obviously received a copy of that. We included it in our packet this evening so that folks at home could see it. And Mr. Dean, did you want to speak to this real quickly?
Yeah, I'll just point out that the Swasey Parkway petition has been granted by the court, and so therefore the warrant article that was part of the 2022 town meeting can now take full effect. And that will involve discontinuing a portion of the Parkway Road and creating a space basically for enclosure from Water Street to the pavilion.
So effective the date of this, does that essentially mean that the road is discontinued?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, it's closed now anyway due to the project, but,
Right?
Yeah, we wouldn't start anything till the siphon project is, okay.
okay. And I think that's all there is to discuss until after the election. All right. Moving along, if we may, to regular business. We've got several exemptions and several veterans credits, and you, Madam Clerk, are very talented in grouping them
My water.
together when we're doing roll call, and I have the utmost confidence you'll be successful again this evening.
So I have it on the big
Thanks,
screen
Greg.
here.
Thanks, Greg.
Mr. Chair, I move to, hold on. I move to approve a veterans credit in the amount of $500 for tax year 2023 for the following properties. Map 47, Lot 8, Unit 103, Map 101, Lot 8, Unit 5.
Second.
It's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk?
Selectwoman Cowan?
Aye.
Selectwoman Roundtree Olaf?
Aye.
Selectwoman Belanger.
Aye.
And clerk says aye. Mr. Chair.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, and Mr. Chair, I move to approve elderly exemptions in the amount of $236,251 for the tax year 2023 for the following properties. Map 52, Lot 68, Map 95, Lot 64, Unit 258, Map 64, Lot 21, Map 63, Lot 237, Map 68, Lot 6, Unit 814, for the amounts so stated. That's it.
Yep, second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Selectwoman Cowan.
Aye.
Selectwoman Roundtree Olaf.
Aye.
Selectwoman Belanger.
Aye.
And clerk says aye. Mr. Chair.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Julie, did you miss that?
Yeah, she did.
Disability.
Oh, I did. Let me finish these
Okay,
ones.
go ahead.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve elderly exemptions in the amount of $183,751 for the tax year 2023 for the following properties. Map 104, Lot 79, Unit 220. And that's it.
Yes, second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Selectwoman Roundtree Olaf.
Aye.
Selectwoman Belanger.
Aye.
Selectwoman Cowan.
Aye.
Clerk says aye. Mr. Chair.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0.
I do need water. Okay, and there's one more amount for the elderly exemptions, and then I'll go. Mr. Chair, I move to approve elderly exemptions in the amount of $152,251 for the tax year 2023 for the following properties. There it is. Map 104, Lot 79, Unit 214, and Map 87, Lot 14, Unit 7A.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Selectwoman Roundtree Olaf.
Aye.
Selectwoman Cowan.
Aye.
Selectwoman Belanger.
Aye.
Clerk says aye. Mr. Chair.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. I think there's a denial.
Yep. Mr. Chair, I move to deny an elderly exemption for Map 104, Lot 79, Unit 226.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
I'll leave. Selectwoman Roundtree Olaf.
Aye.
Selectwoman Cowan.
Aye.
Selectwoman Belanger.
Aye.
And the clerk says aye. Mr. Chair?
Aye. Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, and I know.
Get this one.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't have it marked. Okay.
There was one more elderly question.
The top one.
The top.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you, Nancy.
You're welcome.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve an elderly exemption for MAP 62, Lot 2 in the amount of $137,950 in the tax year 2023.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none.
Selectwoman Roundtree Olaf.
Aye.
Selectwoman Cowan.
Aye.
Selectwoman Belanger.
Aye.
Clerk says aye. Mr. Chair?
Aye. Motion passes 5-0.
Okay. Mr. Chair, I move to approve a disability exemption for MAP 95, Lot 64, Unit 326 in the amount of $125,000 for the tax year 2023.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none.
Selectwoman Roundtree Olaf.
Aye.
Selectwoman Cowan.
Aye.
Selectwoman Belanger.
Aye.
Clerk says aye. Mr. Chair?
Aye. Motion passes 5-0.
I move to approve solar exemptions for the following properties. Map 27, Lot 3, the amount of $19,000 for tax year 2023.
Second.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk.
Selectwoman Roundtree Olaf.
Aye.
Selectwoman Cowan.
Aye.
Selectwoman Belanger.
Aye.
And clerk says aye. Mr. Chair?
Aye. Motion passes 5-0.
I move to approve a solar exemption for MAP 62, Lot 190 in the amount of $5,500 for the tax year 2023.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Selectwoman Roundtree Olaf.
Aye.
Selectwoman Cowan.
Aye.
Selectwoman Belanger.
Aye.
Clerk says aye. Mr. Chair?
Aye. Motion passes 5-0.
I move to approve a solar exemption for MAP 65, Lot 81, the amount of $12,500 for the tax year 2023.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none.
Selectwoman Roundtree Olaf.
Aye.
Selectwoman Cowan.
Aye.
Selectwoman Belanger.
Aye.
Clerk says aye. Mr. Chair,
Aye, motion passes 5-0.
is that it?
Is it
One
one
more.
abatement?
Oh, sorry. I just scrolled off those sheets. Mr. Chair, I move to approve a tax abatement for MAP 68, Lot 6, Unit 538, in the amount of $673.20 for the tax year 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk?
Selectwoman Roundtree Olaf.
Aye.
Selectwoman Cowan.
Aye.
Selectwoman Belanger.
Aye.
Clerk says aye. Mr. Chair.
Aye, motion passes 5-0. And we have before us a request for waiver of taxes that's owed on a property, the Exeter River MHB Cooperative. The co-op would like to demolish the existing home due to it being a health hazard and replace it with a 2023 home. Mr. Dean, do you have any other additional information?
No, other than if the board is so inclined to approve this, it would be done under RSA 82A.
Okay. And other than the address that's in the memo, is there a map lot to reference this or no?
I do not believe so.
I didn't see one. Okay. So the motion would just include the address?
Yes.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments from the board?
No.
And seeing none, I would entertain a motion of the town of Exeter to waive the taxes owed on 23 Juniper Street in the amount of $18,273.42.
So moved, excuse me.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk?
Selectwoman Roundtree Olaf.
Aye.
Selectwoman Cowan.
Aye.
Selectwoman Belanger.
Aye.
Clerk says aye. Mr. Chair.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you. Mr. Dean, and I'd also invite Ms. Roy up here since you're on vacation for the two of you, however you want to work it for your town manager's report.
I see her waving off, so.
Okay.
She's in her corner.
I've just got a few things to cover. As you said, Mr. Chair, I was on vacation last week in Arizona and got back on Friday. So I wanted to report that on Friday, we had a meeting with the CPCNH group on community power, and we were able to authorize procurement of power, and that was, my understanding is that is being done today, and we should have news on that fairly shortly.
Okay.
So, wanted to report on that.
Could I ask when that happened or when we're ready to advertise? Because I know folks are going to be confused, and we've talked about this in the past when we've had the folks here to give presentations.
Right.
But if we could explain the cards that people can expect to get in the mail.
Sure.
Okay.
We can do that.
We should
Great.
have the subcommittee of the Energy Committee that's doing this.
Yes, absolutely.
Have them come
Yep.
in.
Have Cliff and Lou and...
Yep.
Yeah, and my understanding is that this is the raw power purchase. It is not the rate setting.
Okay.
That's a separate process.
Okay. I just want to make sure folks have ample time, to understand the cards are going to be coming in the mail, because I guarantee your office, as well as other offices, will be getting phone calls.
Yes.
We've also already put out some flyers anyway. I don't know what's on the website yet.
Good.
Okay. Later this week, we'll be touring 149 Kingston Road with the Housing Authority. The concept there is that the Housing Authority might be interested in that property as a affordable unit, and so we're following up on that again. There's a meeting tomorrow in Dover of the Downeaster Station Committee I'll be attending, and I know I received an email today regarding some issues from the Highway Superintendent to follow up on, and we'll be doing that tomorrow at the meeting. I also wanted to recognize the fire department and their efforts on the fire at Stevens Court. They did a great job, as they always do with that, and also add my voice to the thanking Public Works for their work on the snowstorms. So that's all I had for tonight.
Thank you. Okay. Select Board Committee reports, one last time. Okay. Selectwoman Gilman.
Selectwoman Roundtree Olaf has to make the motion to adjourn tonight.
You're stealing my thunder, Selectwoman Gilman.
It's fun to put in my, it's a recommendation.
Jeez.
It's like, what are you going to leave me with?
I'm a leader.
Gotta have something.
I'm a leader too. I just have I have no meetings. I think I'm going to try to attend the housing meeting on Friday, just to go over what has or has not happened in the House as far as housing goes. We are meeting, we are in session on Thursday, and one of the bills is relative to public playground accessibility. And just as nice a job as has been done by our Parks Department, when we first saw the accessible matting that was used in the Park Street Common, this got surprisingly a lot of pushback.
Really?
Yeah, because the first question after the presentation was, you mean we just have to pave all of our parks, all of our playgrounds? And that's not what it says. It says pathways into and out of and to the equipment. Right? So I got to bring in pictures of our park and pass them around. This is how it works. But it's gone on the floor, and I'm going to have to defend it. Let's see. More RSA 79E tax relief, adding more possibilities to who we can give tax relief to for a certain amount of time. This one, there's another one relative to the municipal master plan that would include having master plans include plans for installing EV charging stations and by project or by municipal choice, or by doing something like a development has to provide so many charging stations for how much square footage of development they're using. And the best one, this is my favorite, I think it's the one I'm speaking on, is to the adoption of public health ordinances by municipalities. The sponsors of this bill want us to have to go to a town meeting or an annual town meeting before deciding if something is an emergency that the health officer should be enforcing any rules about. So that's going to be the big things. Well, those aren't the only big things. Those are the big things that I'm involved with, but it's going to be a long day, and that's Thursday. Call your friendly reps, and that's all I have.
Thank you for your...
So in our planning, we have not the units that have to be installed for electric cars, but they have to now put a pipe in so that the wires can be ran. So
that's good.
I think that was just this past year that was added in. So, short and sweet. I just wanted to let everyone know, as a follow-up to the Conservation Commission meeting last month, on February 28th, with the storm coming, they put a last-minute full moon snowshoe event at the Exeter Country Club Urban Conservation Land. It was this past Saturday, so the storm had just ended as it started. It was Saturday, March 4th at 6:30, and the chair of the Conservation Commission, Andrew Koff, and Kyle Welsh led the trip, and they said the conditions were perfect, and about a dozen people attended. So that was pretty exciting, perfect timing. This week, the Thursday night planning board meeting has been canceled, so all I have this week is a housing advisory committee meeting Friday morning. That walkthrough that you mentioned?
Yes.
Will you have an update?
Yes, I should have.
Oh, perfect, thank
Yep.
you. And I am done.
Wow.
Thank you.
Selectwoman Cowan.
I have one meeting to report on. It was the Communication Advisory Committee, where they are talking through a long-term strategic plan for communications with the town. And so that is exciting. We also desperately need new members because we have two openings, or two people who are not renewing, their terms are up. at the end of April. And so we need new folks to serve on the board so that we can have a quorum.
Have that application for you before you leave.
Yep, I know you do.
Thank you, Selectwoman Cowan. Lastly, and I did not have any meetings last week. We have a piece of correspondence from NHMA, the Legislative Bulletin, and then reviewing the board calendar. We'll meet again on March 20th after the election, unless we need to have a special meeting with any updates for the siphon. And then on the 20th, I guess the board can map out the schedule after that. Just a reminder, March 14th, everybody come out and vote. And I think that's it, unless there's any comments. And one more motion in you?
Like to motion to end, gosh, I just, it's like a hard thing to say. Can I make a motion to end tonight's meeting joyfully?
Second.
Motion and a second. Madam Clerk?
Selectwoman Roundtree Olaf?
Aye.
Selectwoman Cowan?
Aye.
Selectwoman Belanger?
Aye.
The clerk says aye, Mr. Chair.
Aye, we stand adjourned. Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Thank
you
you.
again.
Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast channels 98 and 22. Channel 98 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 13, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report, with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well.